Hello everybody, this is Takeshi and welcome back to another new episode of Import Friendly. Now we've been out for a few months, but now we're back with a chock full of import games to satisfy your urge. We've also got some exciting news from the Tokyo Game Show, especially for you rhythm game fans out there. Now let's get right into the groove with some rhythm games.
So I was a huge fan of the original Rhythm Tengoku, which is a game that never actually came out over here in the US. It was this really simple collection of mini-games from the same folks who gave us the WarioWare series, but the difference here is that they were all rhythm-based, and the game was super addictive, super fun, the music was great, and despite the fact that it never had a localization here in America, it was really easy to understand what was going on. So when I heard that there was going to be a sequel for the DS, Rhythm Tengoku Gold was coming out, I was pretty excited, and that was one of the first things I wanted to pick up from Tokyo Game Show this year. In Word, getting into Rhythm Tengoku Gold was a little bit different. It plays on the DS, and you play everything with a stylus, and you hold it in this kind of book-style format, much in the same way you'd play Hotel Dusk or Brain Age or games like that.
It's not a very difficult game. The only real challenge is the language barrier. If you don't understand Japanese, you're not going to understand what any of the menus are saying. You're not going to understand the instructions. That's not so much of a problem because it's a rhythm game and you're basically just tapping along to the beat on the touchscreen.
It's not so much hard to play, it's just hard to figure out what you're doing. In the end, it's just going to be one little tiny thing. And once you figure out what that is, yeah, it's an easy game to pick up.
Each minigame takes you through a tutorial to tell you what you're going to be needing to do in this minigame. And there are various combinations of tapping the screen, or you tap and hold the screen, or you tap, hold, and then flick the screen. And because the words for tap or hold or scratch would all be in Japanese and I don't understand them, it takes a little bit of getting through the tutorial to figure out what the game exactly wants me to do. Fortunately, the tutorials don't let you get through them until you know full well what you need to be doing.
Every little scenario, every mini game has like a crazy sense of humor, and even if you're doing poorly, you're still having a good time because it's just so crazy, insane, off the wall, and you're just laughing along with it, even as you're failing miserably. So it's got its challenges, but they're very, very enjoyable challenges.
You're presented with a grid full of mini-games. As you pass each one, you unlock another. These are set up in small blocks of series of mini-games, at the end of which is what they call a remix, which is like a boss battle. And this will take the same mini-games that you've used and mix them together to a slightly different tune or a different rhythm in a much more rapid-fire and on-your-toes kind of succession of events.
Some of my favorite ones, there's one where you are playing in a two-person rock band. It's just you and this other guy and you both have guitars. And the cool thing is that you're kind of like, you use the stylus to sort of strum along the screen, and it actually feels like playing the guitar.
The Starfighter one where you're fighting off the alien invasion, as well as the photographer, the race event. Both of those have great music and just the action is super fun.
I also like the one where you're a singing Easter Island statue and your punishment for not singing in time is you have birds poop on you, which is funny. Universal humor, it's a poop joke. Who doesn't like that?
The music in here is absolutely fantastic, especially for the DS, and it's a lot of really super addictive, really fun, stuff that you will find yourself tapping your feet to.
Generally, people are afraid to try a Japanese game because they're not going to understand anything that's going on. But in this game, nobody understands anything that's going on because it's just like crazy.
So in short, Rhythm Tengoku is a really simple, really fun, really addictive game. If you love music, if you love rhythm games, you're going to find something you really like in this game.
There's no barrier for anybody, it's just how well you can match the rhythm.
If you find yourself a bit intimidated by import games, the good news for you is that this game has seen an American localized release under the name Rhythm Heaven, which should be available later on this year.
So this year at Tokyo Game Show, we got to check out Taiko No Tatsujin for the Wii, which is coming out in Japan pretty soon, but alas, not announced for North America yet. The game pretty much looks like every other incarnation of Taiko No Tatsujin you've played before. The real story was the cool new peripheral they made for the Wii. The drum pad's about this big, and the drum pad part is white, while the support is light brown. Looks a lot like the Donkey Konga pads for the GameCube. When we played it, it was on a table, and it came with a prop that sort of set it up at a 45-degree angle. It looked like you could maybe snap that prop off and play with it on your lap. The drumsticks are about a foot long, and you hammer away on it just like you would on the real arcade game, although it's mini. The drum registers 2 kinds of hits, on the center pad and on the rim, and the peripheral itself plugs into the Wii remote, which you just kind of leave sitting off to the side. All the in-game menus are controlled by the drum, and you just sit there and hammer away like you were really taiko drumming, or at least video gamey taiko drumming. It's pretty cool. Though it was really fun to hammer away on the new peripheral, there is currently no North American release announced for Taiko No Tatsujin. But we'll be keeping an eye out because that peripheral was really fun, and we're looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll come our way.
Taiko no Tatsujin has enjoyed great popularity since its initial release in 2001. 20-some versions later, a second DS version is once again burning up the sales charts with Mecha Taiko no Tatsujin DS 7つの島の大冒険.
I have to admit that when Takeshi came to me and said, "You want to play this taiko game?" I thought, I don't know if I'm really a drummer. I'm more of the lead singer. But I gave it a try. The DS controls were really responsive. It was fun. You could see the drum beats going across the top screen, so you have to tap on the bottom on the drum. It comes with 2 custom styluses that I thought were really neat. If you play around with it a bit, you can use the buttons to do the tapping, or even just tap on it with your fingers. Takeshi recommended that I use my thumbs, and I tried that because he really thought it worked well. It didn't work so well for me. I don't know if I fat-fingered it or if I'm just not coordinated, which is a possibility. At some points, using the styluses was kind of a bit too difficult to keep up with it, and so the buttons were a lot easier for that. I found that using the single stylus was usually pretty good. I could be on the drum, off the drum, on the drum, off the drum, and get it really quickly. Tried a bunch of different songs. It ranged in terms of the music selection from J-pop to American folk songs to this really cool ska song. I had my daughter attack me to try and play the ABC song that was included in it, which was pretty cute. There's a bunch of different categories. One of them is video game, where you can find stuff like Soul Calibur. But of course, most of it, except for the ABC song, all in Japanese. It's going to be your character, and you can customize them. You can make them have different types of heads, bodies, paint them different colors. There's one where your taiko drum is in an astronaut bubble suit. I don't really know why that's different than the one where you play with a regular drum. But it was different, and it was cool, and there were different songs, and I had fun. You could choose a soccer ball drum or an all-metal drum. So you could use a fencing mask as a drum, and I thought that was really cool. But ultimately, the best sound was the regular stock taiko drum, because when you're using the fencing mask, there's lots of oh, ha, huh. You use a soccer ball, and when you do the side of the drum, it is this dude yelling goal. Wasn't really feeling that. There was this kind of goth, metal-y song that was really different, and the beats were really close together. There's a special beat that you have to hit, and then the drum comes out and he starts blowing a bubble, and you just gotta whack the drum really fast and he blows the bubble up. And if you can get the bubble to pop before the next beat comes on screen, you get more points. And I'm always down with more points.
So according to our GameSpot experts, they seem to feel that all in all, Mecha Taiko no Tatsujin DS 7つの島の大冒険 seems to be a very import-friendly game that just about anyone could pick up and figure out. So that's our show, folks. I hope you enjoyed our TGS 08 rhythm game episode here on Import Friendly. Make sure you check out the GameSpot Game Spaces for all the articles, videos, and game guides to all the games featured on today's show. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.